painted goalposts under fading skies. Tattered flags waving dreams in our eyes. The crowds roar like a storm on the wind. We're the underdogs fighting again.
What's going on, guys? I hope you're enjoying your Wednesday evening. And for those that are in the UK, it's good to have you guys along tonight. As it is Concacaf Gold Cup Watchalong semifinals tonight, as the U.S. men's national team are taking on the upstart Guatemalans, as Guatemala upset Canada to find their way into the semifinal along with the U.S. men's national team. Before we get into everything, let's go ahead and get those likes and subscribes out of the way. Obviously, I would appreciate it if you guys hit the subscribe button because we are on a race to 1,000 subs. And of course, it goes without saying that every single time we hit that milestone, whether it be 500,000, 1,500, I will be giving away a kit giveaway, a kit of your choice. That is how I take care of people. So, you know, one hand washes the other, and I would appreciate the support. All right. So before we get into the lineups of tonight's game, we have to go over a few news and notes real quick because it does surround the U.S. men's national team, and it is official. Malik Tillman is headed to Bayer Leverkusen. With the departure of Florian Wirtz to Liverpool, they had an opening at the center attacking mid. And Bayer Leverkusen swooped in and got the deal done around 40 million euro, which I believe it amounts to $47 million US. And this is absolutely huge, a year ahead of World Cup 2026. And of course, if you've been paying attention to the Gold Cup, Malik Tillman has been the best player for the U.S. men's national team so far through 4 games. You know, when you look at the season he had last year with PSV in the Eredivisie, you can see that, you know, his development has reached I guess you can say a crescendo to the point where now a team like Bayer Leverkusen is swooping in because they see the talent and they see the possibilities. Now, granted, I will say that this is a caveat because it is no longer Xabi Alonso that is the head coach of Leverkusen. It is now former Man United head coach Erik ten Hag. And this is ten Hag's first signing of his tenure at Bayer Leverkusen. But that being said, he gets a very good center attacker. And with the style of play that Tillman has displayed so far, now because the US are kind of weak at the 10, and you're starting to see this talent manifest now for the national team, it's pretty evident that if things continue to progress, that he will be the starting 10 in World Cup 2026. All right. The other piece of news is also Patrick Aubameyang, U.S. men's national team striker, who is currently the striker here at the Gold Cup. He is ready to make his move to Europe, and he has paved the way for personal agreements, and he's going to make his way to the championship with Derby County. And of course, Derby County Absolutely love him. I think the deal on the table is for $8 million. And if you guys remember that Charlotte FC turned down a few bids last summer for his services, but now, of course, Derby, I think they finished in 19th place, one spot above the drop, so they're looking for some firepower. But now this is a second U.S. men's national team striker that's playing in the championship. Of course, Josh Sargent plays for Norwich City, so there's going to be some head-to-head competition within the league, as well as spots for for that third striker on the World Cup roster. So congratulations to both Tillman and Patrick Aubameyang. Both moves are well deserved, and it's nice seeing this as we are progressing to World Cup 2026. Key players are taking that step up. Now, obviously, it could come with a risk. As you remember, Ricardo Pepi made the move to Augsburg in the Bundesliga ahead of World Cup 2022, and it didn't necessarily work out until he got that loan move to the Netherlands. And then all of a sudden, I think it was FC Groningen. And then all of a sudden, he started scoring goals in bunches. It still was not enough to put him on that 2022 World Cup roster. It was an absolute train robbery, but what are you going to do? That's Greg Berhalter for you. All right. So the U.S. men's national team are in the semifinals, and I think it goes without saying that I've absolutely loved this Gold Cup performance. Not just from a tactical standpoint, although I do happen to enjoy watching that, but it's also from the things that we have been lacking for well over a year now. And, I said this a few weeks ago that I think that the biggest issue isn't that some of these players don't care. It's the fact that there's nothing necessarily to fight for because, we have the World Cup on home soil. We are automatically qualified. There is no World Cup qualification. There's nothing to ramp up for. There's nothing to test yourself in this. And so from that from that standpoint, you can understand the psychology of a player. Well, if there's nothing necessarily to work for, then we can actually just kind of take this seriously. We don't have to necessarily take this as serious as it was if there was World Cup qualifying. And because of that, we have seen the performances take an absolute nosedive to the point where these players somewhat look disinterested on the pitch. And it makes sense because, the Confederation is the Confederation. We're generally playing Panama, Canada, Mexico, and maybe Australia and New Zealand thrown in there for good measure. So it makes sense that guys like Christian Pulisic would find it hard to get motivated to fly 16 hours across the pond from Italy to Los Angeles just to suit up for, a game that doesn't necessarily mean anything. But that being said, that mentality has kind of bled into some of these competitions. And we saw last summer in the Copa America, they did not play as well as we expected them to. And of course, we got grouped, became the first team to get grouped on home soil. And we saw it in the Nations League. They looked a little listless in the Nations League. And of course, pre-Gold Cup, they absolutely got smashed by Turkey and Switzerland. And so there was a lot of, I guess you can say, negativity coming into this one. But one of the things that I've noticed is that now for the third straight match, they've had to deal with adversity and figure out a way to get over it and still find results. After the 5-0 beat down to Trinidad and Tobago, they dealt with a low block in Saudi Arabia, and they couldn't figure it out. But that being said, they get a set-piece goal by Chris Richards, and they figure out a way to win against Haiti. It was the mistake by Matt Freese that allowed Haiti to score that goal that drew the game even. And from that point, it was kind of a battle of attrition. They kind of struggled on the attack, but again, kept grinding and kept finding ways to get forward, and they finally get the goal to seal a 2-1 win. And of course, in the quarterfinal against Costa Rica, they start off with an absolute miserable mistake that led to the penalty. It was Max Arson who made a horrible tackle in the box. All of a sudden, Costa Rica goes up 1-0. And then all of a sudden, the U.S. has to find their way back into the match, and they do. Malik Tillman gets a penalty. He misses it. And once that happened, players from Costa Rica kept came up to Malik Tillman, got into his face, made fun of him, and were picking on him. And the entire team rallied around Malik Tillman. He's kind of a quiet guy. And what I loved about it was the fact that the U.S. men's national team isn't just fighting, but they're now starting to push back. This club has had 5 weeks to gel, and this has all the ingredients of the U.S. men's national team that everybody loves. It's the thing that fans have been calling out for well over a year now. Where's the fight? Where's the grind? Where's the grit? Shoot. Where is that classic American arrogance that this team so proudly displayed back in the day, where you step on the field just expecting to win, even if you know you're going up against a team that's way better than you. You are going to fight for every inch, claw for every inch, and never back down. We are starting to see that. That was such a seminal moment against Costa Rica, and it brought this team back. And from that point, they scored 2 goals. Yes, they gave up, the equalizer, but they were able to pull through in the shootout. And here we are today, in the semifinals. So quickly, let's go over the lineups today. For the U.S. men's national team, they're coming out into 4-2-3-1. Matt Freese is back in goal. The back four is the exact same thing it's been for pretty much 3 out of the 4 ones, with Arston at the left back spot. Tim Ream, Chris Richards are the center back pairing. Freeman is back at the right right back spot. Luca Della Torre and Tyler Adams are your double pivot. Diego Luna's out on the left. Malik Tillman is your 10, with Sebastian Berhalter out right, and Patrick Ajamyang will be up top. For Guatemala, they're kind of lining up in a 4-4-2 with Navarro in net. The back line of Herrera, Pinto, Samoya, and Morales. Their midfield 4, Robles, Rosales, Munoz, and Altan, and up top is going to be Santos and Ruben. Ruben, of course, is the former U.S. men's national player that had a few caps, and then he made the switch. And of course, he's very familiar with the U.S. and the U.S. staff. And I believe it's the same thing with Herrera as well, too, former U.S. men's national team player. Actually, I think it might have been Pinto. But the other guy to watch out for is Santos. That dude's prime time. I think he has played in 4 matches so far in the tournament, and he's got 3 goals already as well, too. So Guatemala is not here just by a fluke. Not at all. Let's see. As we're waiting for this match to start, let's go ahead and tune in to see what we have here in the chat. We have Adrian, Spurs Diehards, TTID. Make sure you get over to Spurs Diehard and hit the like and subscribe button. Great show for all you Tottenham heads out there. I appear on the show every single Friday, and so those Drew and Adrian are awesome. He says, Steve, mate, what is the actual status quo with the Club World Cup? I haven't watched any of the football. I believe we just got past the round of 16 now, as we're getting into the latter stages of that tournament. And of course, we're probably going to have some matches here on stateside footy. So I'll keep you posted and let you know how everything's going, Adrian. And then we have Wayne Bonner. Sup, everyone? Hope you're all well and having a good week. Absolutely. Today is my Friday, so I'm really looking forward to the 4-day weekend as we celebrate our nation's independence. As we are waiting for kick, we're just right around the corner. And I will say that coming into this tournament, I expected the U.S. to at least get to the final. Yes, Concacaf is better, and I think Concacaf is better because a lot of these countries are now benefiting from Major League Soccer. Jamaica, Costa Rica, Guatemala, Mexico. A lot of these players are now developing in Major League Soccer, while the U.S. development has stalled a little bit in America. Now, granted, a lot of these young kids are going to Europe, so they're getting handed opportunities at a very young age, and so young Americans are cutting their teeth across the pond, while our, Canada's part of that one as well, too. And then our opponents, our regional opponents, our regional rivalries, their national teams are benefiting off the development of Major League Soccer. And we're starting to see this now at the national level. Panama has gotten better. Mexico, well, I don't know about Mexico, but Canada's gotten better. Jamaica's gotten better. Costa Rica's gotten better. And what that means is that the U.S. actually has to elevate. Now, granted, I'm sure there are times where even if the U.S. are not necessarily having the best day, they have the talent to override. But one of the things that has really hurt this over the last year is the fact that they feel like they can just show up and win out, even if they're not playing well. And we're starting to find that nobody is necessarily afraid of the U.S. anymore with inside Concacaf. You're going to get their best every single time out, and it requires us to focus and not take these people for granted. Because I'll tell you what, would I be surprised if we lost tonight? No. Do I think we're going to lose tonight? No. But that being said, I will not take Guatemala for granted. And it looks like we're about ready for the opening kick here, live from St. Louis, Missouri. Do make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons as we're about ready to get this going. The U.S. will have possession first, and Diego Luna is about ready to kick this one off. And we're off now, as this ball is going to be played back to Chris Richards, and of course he does his customary pinging it forward down the right-hand side. That ball's going to get popped up. If there's Freeman right there on the touchline, down the right side. And Freeman thought there was a handball, and it definitely looked like there was a handball. And there's Maurizio Pochettino, dressed in all black. Customary Italian cut blazer. I've never seen a 54-year-old dude look that good. And I'm saying that kindly. As that ball's played forward, it looks like it's going to be headed down. Here's Luca De La Torre, who's going to play it all the way to the left. Here's Arfston crossing the halfway line. And, of course, Arfston will drop it back to Tim Ream, and the U.S. will reset here. The United States has appeared in 17 semifinals here in the Gold Cup over the course of the what I would consider the modern-day era from 1991 on, while Guatemala makes their only second appearance in the Gold Cup semifinal. As Guatemala is trying to high press, as that ball looks like Guatemala is intercepted, as they're going to try to play this across to the right side. That's going to be tipped away, but still played in. And it looks like Guatemala will finally lose possession. There's Tim Ream. Oh, boy, and Luca De La Torre missed the pass. There's a shot on net. Goes way wide. And that's somebody that the U.S. has to watch out for. And it looked like that was Santos. I think that might have been Rubio. But both Rubio and Santos are going to be absolutely deadly tonight. They're not going to be able to give those two space at all to operate. As the U.S. now will have a goal kick, and it looks like Matt Freese is signaling everybody to head forward there, as that ball is going to get pinged centrally. Here's Ajim Yang with the holdup. He's going to lay this one off. It looks like it's Arfston. Here's Luna. Luna plays it in, tip forward. Luna leads it off for Arfston. Oh, boy, and that cross goes off the side of his foot. And now Guatemala will clear it. As Richards is going to have to race all the way back to pick up this one. Good for, I like the movement so far by the U.S. Looks like they're getting into space. And one of the things that the U.S. had to overcome was the fact that they don't really have any natural wingers on the roster. Without Christian Pulisic, there's really not I guess the understudy would have been Haji Wright. He got sent home because of injury. And they didn't necessarily have Tim Way on. They didn't have Way on this roster because of Club World Cup. So the U.S. are basically playing with two wing backs and 2 10s. There's a shot on net by Malik Tillman. Oh, it goes in! Off the rebound, Diego Luna. Luna was crashing the net. And the U.S. get on the board first, 3.5 minutes into the first half, and Diego Luna has tapped this one in. Absolutely brilliant piece of football right there by the U.S. Getting pressure forward, getting numbers forward. And I believe that's Luna's third of the tournament. As we watch this one, Luna takes the pass up the left, then he switches all the way to the right to Freeman. And Freeman hits it back. And it looked like this was Arfston that put one on, but there was Diego Luna right outside the 6-yard box to collect the rebound right there, and he puts it into the far net. Wonderful heads-up play Good spatial awareness right there by Diego Luna. And the U.S. already up 1-0. Ooh. Ooh. But yes, because the U.S. Doesn't have traditional wingers on this roster, they've had to get creative. And of course, they're using 2 wing-back systems with Freeman and Arvston. And they've moved Diego Luna and Malik Tillman inside. So they're playing with 2 high 10s, a striker, and 2 wingbacks. And you can see that this team is really gelling over the course of this tournament. And it makes you wonder, it makes you kind of look ahead. And it makes you wonder, like, if Christian Pulisic, Weston McKennie, Timmy Weah, and some of these other guys decide to buy in and are all in under Mauricio Pochettino, now all of a sudden that World Cup gets very, very interesting. Now, I'm not going to go out on a limb and say something crazy like my guy Dermatron, who always, predicts a 4-0 Spurs win every single week. But I will say that, the U.S. does have the talent to finally get past the round of 16, because that seems to be the bench watermark for this national team. Good enough to qualify, good enough to get out of the groups. But as soon as they hit the knockout rounds, more oftentimes than not, with the exception of being 2002 when they got Mexico in the round of 16, they usually bow out in the round of 16. But when you look at the talent, it's there. It's there. Very good crop of young midfielders. As that ball is going to get popped in the air, and it looks like Guatemala will lose possession here as that ball's deflected back, and it looks like it's going to be headed out of play for a U.S. throw-in. And it looks like Rosales is down on the turf. But yeah, are the U.S. the best team in the world? Not even by a long stretch. But do they have the talent to pull off an upset in the knockout rounds? 100%. On their day, if everyone's dialed in and they're mistake-free, 100% they can get the result. And of course, being on home soil with the home fans there, 100%. As we look at Nate Holloway, yep, what's up, man? RIFC, what's RIFC? Rhode Island Football Club? As the U.S. now are going to be in position, it is Sebastian Berhalter. Hid between 2. Oh, that was almost tip. Oh, good press right here by Guatemala. But Tyler Adams now is able to sneak free. Here's Diego Luna. Lays it off for Malik Tillman. Tillman will lay it back to Berhalter, who's actually had a surprisingly good tournament. Saba's played well as that ball gets played back to Chris Richards. But 3.5 minutes in, Diego Luna collects the rebound and puts the U.S. up 1-0. As the U.S. almost lost possession there, but that ball's going to get pinged forward. Here comes Aubameyang on a run. And Aubameyang is going to beat his man, but that ball, oh, no, it's in. Wow. Here's Berhalter on the right side, playing 1-2s with Freeman. Berhalter is going to go centrally. And it's Tyler Adams now. And the U.S. will reset with Tim Ream on the ball. Ream's going to play it up the left-hand side. It's Arvston. And here comes Luna now. Played it forward, and that was just a weighted pass. That was a little too much right there for Patrick Aubameyang. But this is exactly what you want to see if you're the U.S. Early goals, early pressure, getting numbers forward, and seeing if they can make Guatemala bend. As Guatemala is going to play it forward from the keeper. And now all of a sudden, let's see what they can do in the buildup. As this ball's being played up the right-hand side. And that ball will get deflected as it was played into the box. U.S. tries to clear. There's Matt Freeze. So Rhode Island FC, now correct me if I'm wrong. I believe Rhode Island FC, did they either play in the USL Championship game or won it. It was either the championship or USL 1. You're going to have to correct me. But I'm glad you're here, Nate. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, my guy. As the U.S. are in possession here down the right-hand side, as Sebastian Berhalter is going to play it long. Trying to get Freeman on a run. He stays with it, headed. Here's Watchalong. Oh, that gets cleared. Ooh, that was nearly number 2 right there. Good hustle by Freeman to keep that ball into play, and he headed it forward. But the U.S. will throw this in quickly. And it's De La Torre playing it back to Tyler Adams. Here's Diego Luna now. Back to De La Torre, and it's Arfston. Ooh, nice little 1-2 right here. It's Watchalong trying to flip it, but it's Diego Luna. Here's Sebastian Berhalter. Nice flip by Diego Luna. Here's Malik Tillman. That ball gets deflected, and Tillman picks it up. Shoots! Ooh, Malik Tillman. Way to stay with that one. Malik Tillman cutting in, tried to take a shot, and it gets deflected, and then he picks the back pocket and then tries to fire just wide right. Great opportunity right there for the U.S. Here comes Guatemala, though, up the right-hand side, into the box, trying to play it in, deflected wide. Tried to go short side, Santos right there, but unfortunately, it gets deflected out. So it looks like it'll be Guatemala's first corner, as we're now in the 11th minute, and the U.S. actually have to be compact here. They can't concede this early. They got to be able to keep the lead at least for the first half. That ball's going to get whipped in a little wide, poked up, and Richards heads it away. And now Tyler Adams tried to clear it, but that's going to get deflected and out, and I believe that's going to be a U.S. throw-in. There's Pochettino manning the technical box right there. Look at Diego Luna. That is awesome. And I would probably assume with the play so far in his young U.S. men's national team career, now this Gold Cup, I would probably assume that Diego is probably going to be on the World Cup roster, as he should. And here comes the U.S. now across the halfway line. It's Luna. Luna's going to play this to the right. It's Berhalter. And it's Freeman now on the right side. As Freeman's going to have to lay this one back to Richards, who automatically crosses the field to Ream. And now it's Arfston. The U.S. reset again, and it's Richards who's going to try to play this one forward, but there's nobody there. Quick throw in by the Guatemala keeper. There's the switch to the left-hand side, and there's nobody home, and it gets out for a U.S. throw-in. So far, as we're only 13 minutes in, the U.S. have dominated possession, and Costa Rica, they've gotten forward a few times, but nothing that's been cohesive in their build-up play. There's the throw-in. He's going to go all the way to the top for Watchalong, who tries to flick it forward to himself. But it's going to get deflected and out again for a U.S. throw-in. There's Potch giving directions. I certainly think that he has been pleasantly surprised with this Gold Cup run, as they're going to try this again to Watchalong. And sure enough, there's Sebastian Berhalter all over it. Nice play by Berhalter. Tillman's going to switch it all the way across to Diego Luna. Luna cuts in, shoots! Go! Diego Luna, his second And it's 2-0 U.S. This dude is an absolute wizard. Diego Luna, as that ball gets switched from Malik Tillman, he cuts in and puts one on net. Absolutely beautiful goal by Diego Luna. And the U.S. now extend the lead, and we're not even 15 minutes in, as the U.S. has literally put the pace on Guatemala. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Nice cut in. And Luna, there was nobody there, and he tucks it into the near post, beating the keeper. Beautiful goal. And there he is, Diego Luna, pointing to the crest. He absolutely loves. There's fake Alexi Lawless. Wonderful. I think he's been at every game as well, too. So this is exactly what you want to see. This is exactly how the U.S. came out against Trinidad. They scored 5 in that one. And now 15 minutes in to the first half, they've already dotted up Guatemala twice. As the restart happens and Guatemala is trying to go up the left-hand side, U.S. pressure. Played a little too far forward. But Guatemala eventually will come down as they're going to try to reset here, trying to play this up the right-hand side. But the U.S. press is good. Yes, Guatemala is having trouble getting forward. But forward they go. There's the layup on the right-hand side. Arston will try to block it, but that gets all the way through. Cutting in. There's nobody there. Shoots wide. Wide right there. And it looks like that was Rosales right there with the shot. As that was wide right. And what's interesting is Rosales had space right there. He didn't have to rush it. But that's exactly what it looked like right there. As the U.S. were trying to play forward, but Ajamian can't hold that one up. So Guatemala has possession here as they're going to try to work it to the left. As I mentioned earlier, this is the 17th semifinal appearance for the U.S. men's national team at the Concacaf Gold Cup. And of those 17, I believe the U.S. has advanced to the final, I believe, 12 of those times. So this is not uncharted territory for the U.S. But that being said, it's the expectation. By the way, the U.S. will find out who they play in the final, as Mexico and Honduras play a little bit later tonight. That final is going to be on Sunday right here on Stateside Footy. As the U.S. are trying to get forward, here's Luca De La Torre. He's going to play this one back to Tim Ream. Here's Freeman on the right-hand side. And he will switch it over to Tim Ream. As Guatemala really is trying to put the pressure. But Luca De La Torre finds Arston. Cutting down the left-hand side. He's going to play it in. Here's Ajamang, but he can't hold it. As Ajamang falls to the turf right there. And this is that's Ajamang's game, right? I questioned whether or not he can play at this level. Yes, I realize that, I think now he's got 5 times in the last 11 starts for the U.S., which is great, but he's I don't know, man. He's been a little clunky as a striker. As Guatemala will try to play this up to the right. That's entirely way too far forward, and it gets out off the right side for a U.S. throw-in. Wayne Bonner asks, what's the other semifinal? It's going to be Mexico versus Honduras. And that's going to be a little bit later tonight. I believe 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific. And, that ball's played forward. Here's Ajamang. Ajamang 1v1, shoots, and he misses wide right. Oh, it's offside anyway. But listen, maybe I'm a little cocky right now, Wayne. Maybe that's the case. But with the U.S., yeah, he was way offside. But with the U.S. already up 2-0, yeah, I'm not going to jinx it. I'm just going to say that the winner of this match will play the winner of Mexico versus Honduras. But that being said, Guatemala upset Canada to get here. Honduras upset Panama. So would it be out of the realm of possibility that there could be another upset? Sure. I think right now Mexico is actually playing pretty well under Javier Aguirre. It would be classic U.S.-Mexico final. As Guatemala is going to try to play this up the right-hand side in traffic. As they go centrally now. Now there's the play all the way to the left. It looks like it's going to be Rosales. He's going to play this one. I believe it's going to be Santos. And now Chris Richards will boot this one away. And quickly, and it looks like Malik Tillman can handle that one. As Guatemala will try to press forward here. There's the play into the box, headed away by Richards. There's Diego Luna trying to head it forward to Malik Tillman, and there's a whistle. As Diego Luna's on the turf, but it looks like he's getting up, and I think that whistle was right there on Rosales. As the Guatemalan fans have been stunned here in St. Louis. And that ball's intercepted. 1v1 in the box. Ooh, Chris Richards deflects it. And Guatemala can't handle it. And I believe that was Rubio right there who couldn't handle it. And I think that's going to get out for a U.S. goal kick. As Freeman tried to play it back to Tyler Adams, just a little too heavy of a touch. And Mendez gets his shot blocked, and Rubio couldn't control it. So it'll be a U.S. goal kick here, as the U.S. will try to play out of the back here. I absolutely think this is I don't know. I'm not a big fan of being there. He goes, and Matt Freese now will signal everybody to get forward. There's the goal kick, as it is played all the way up the left-hand side. But there's Guatemala to retain possession. Like, I think there's a time and there's a place to play out of the back. And, when defenses are keying in to your center backs and wing backs, it's time to boot that one down the pitch, just like they did. For all you Spurs fans out there, you guys can probably remember Ange Postecoglou being absolutely married to it. Anyway, there's a whistle on the pitch as Altan hits the ground. I believe Tyler Adams is going to get the naughty check right there. That's Guatemala now trying to play it centrally. And now they're going to switch to the right as Arston comes forward. Good press right here by the U.S. as Guatemala's been pinned. As now they're going to try to work this up the left hand, but Sebastian Berhalter is there. That ball's played forward. And now Freeman. And has to play it forward. There's Ajamang on the right-hand touchline, and now all of a sudden he's been absolutely hounded. 1v1. And there's a whistle as Ajamang hits the deck, and it looks like it's going to be Rosales, the guilty player for Guatemala there, as he was absolutely mugged. There's Derma. Dig up. And he says, hey, Wayne, for those that are just tuning in, the U.S. put 2 past Guatemala within the first 15 minutes and currently need 2-0 here in the 24th minute. This is exactly the type of start that I was expecting from the U.S. And it looks like the U.S. now will have a free kick off the left-hand side. Check that, the right-hand side. Sebastian Berhalter plays it in just a little too hard as the goalkeeper came out and made a nice save right there. And he will quickly try to boot this one up the field. But right there is Max Arfson to clear it. And it goes out for a throw-in on the right-hand side there for Guatemala. And it's a quick plan, as they're going to try to play this one centrally here. Oh, nice marking right there from Tyler Adams. And Guatemala's slowly trying to play this one back, but they try to get forward here on the right side. But again, 2 blue shirts right there for the U.S. Now they're going to switch. And it's Morales on the left-hand side. Played in. Ooh, and that one almost went in. Headed wide by Santos. As the switch freed up Morales. And he was able to put one in past Freeman there. But the header just wide right. The U.S. have to do a better job defensively there. As that ball's going to ping off the left-hand side, and here's Arfston. And he's going to play this back to Ream. Here's Richards now. Nice pass centrally. It's Tyler Adams. And it's Max Arfson on the left-hand touchline. Now it's back to Ream as the U.S. are trying to, I guess, kind of quiet Guatemala down a little bit. As the last 5 minutes, Guatemala's kind of gotten forward a little bit. As that ball is going to try to get played forward. But Ashman can't get on the end of that run. It's Berhalter on the left to Arfston. Arfston going to play it into Ashman, who tips it out to Diego Luna. And there's a whistle, and they're going to say it's offsides. Yeah, okay, I guess. Maybe a step. As Guatemala will get possession now. As they're going to try this on the right side. Diego Luna tried to press, but now all of a sudden here comes Guatemala now. They're going to switch this to the left-hand side. But not this time, as Morales was met right there with Freeman. Ooh! Oh, and Guatemala just scored. Oh, they're going to say offside, though. And the U.S. was absolutely wide open centrally right there. As that ball was played in. Oh, yeah, and they were way offside. The U.S. were absolutely fortunate there because both Tim Ream and Chris Richards were split wide. There was absolutely nobody there to mark Rosales. Thankfully, it was offside. So Guatemala now will have possession. As we're approaching minute 30 here in the first half, U.S. has to tighten it down a little bit on defense. as they try to play this centrally, but there was Tim Ream. There's a whistle. And they will call for a water break here, 29 minutes in. As looks like Wayne Bonner and the Dermatron are talking in the chat. Let's see. In again with the same problem, can't shift. Okay. Oh, is your back hurting there, Derma? Now, hopefully you feel better. Well, we are in the midst of a first half water break, and so for those that are tuning in, the U.S. men's national team scored twice within a span of 15 minutes to open this thing up, as they essentially caught Guatemala flat-footed. Diego Luna, both goals, as the first one was off a rebound, and the second one was unassisted, as he essentially knifed in and put one past the keeper to the near post. So let's see. One of the things that we were discussing prior was the grit, but it's also the determination as well too. And this is something that I think this is self-inflicted for the U.S. men's national team, and that kind of just reinforced itself just a second ago, where they get a lead and maybe they feel a little comfortable with that lead. The problem is you can't let your foot up off the gas. You still have to play with the same intensity coming forward as it is coming back. And, the last couple times Guatemala came in, man, a couple balls into the box, and all of a sudden, there's an open guy at the back post. You have to pay attention to the littlest detail, because even a team like Guatemala is going to be able to put a goal or two past you. So it's time for the U.S. to regroup here. Granted, I understand we're still 31 minutes in, but you absolutely cannot take your eye off the ball here. Speaking of which, players resumed, and Guatemala will have possession here as we are approaching minute 32. 2-0 USA. And as the intro to the show suggests, I believe that we will win. Oh, nice sliding tackle by Berhalter. Now here come the U.S. as they're trying to counter. It's Luca Della Torre who's going to lay this one off to Diego Luna on the left-hand side. Luna will drop it to Arfston as he tries to make a run forward. As Guatemala now is absolutely harassing Tim Ream, and he tries to play this one forward to Luca Della Torre. And that was good defense right there by Guatemala, stopping Della Torre from getting that forward run as it runs out, and it'll be a goal kick for Guatemala. It feels like the last 10 minutes, the momentum has swung a little bit for Guatemala, getting a goal chalked off for offsides. And again, it's all about matching the same intensity coming back as you're going forward. As now Guatemala is going to try to play this one forward. Oh, nice save right there by Freeze. As they played that one forward beautifully, as they got, I want to say Santos running free, and he absolutely beat Tim Ream. Oh, nice clearance right there off the corner. And the U.S. will clear this one. So here comes Guatemala now, as they're going to try to play this one in again. Off the woo-hoo-hoo, as Matt Freeze came out to try to play it, but it gets past him. But there's Arfston. As Guatemala will intercept. And now there's a whistle. And it'll be a free kick. As down on the turf is Luca Della Torre. And now all of a sudden, Guatemala looks awesome on the attack. As we watch the replay, and it looks like Morales was calling for a handball. You didn't get it. But there will be a free kick here on the right-hand side for Guatemala. 25 yards out from the right-hand side. The U.S. has actually been very good defending set pieces. Here's the in-swinger. And it's going to be headed out. As that ball's pinging away, as Ashimang's trying to collect it, he can't. But Guatemala looks like they're going to, nope, as that ball's going to get cleared away. Nice play by Malik Tillman. And the keeper will come out of his box to corral that one. As Guatemala will try to play this out to the left-hand side. 35th minute, 10 minutes to play. As you know, as this first half has evolved, Guatemala has found its way, found its a little bit of its groove, and they've been getting forward now regularly. As the U.S. as there's a switch to the left-hand side. Ball in the box, as that's going to get out. As they were trying to find Mendez at the back post, as again, the U.S. were caught out on that switch, allowing Morales to run free on the left-hand side. And it looked like Sebastian Berhalter was trying to cover and track ground, but Morales put one in. It just went way too far past a streaking Mendez right there. As the U.S. try to play this forward. And it looks like there's going to be a foul on Berhalter. Both Morales and Berhalter fighting hard for that ball. And now all of a sudden the U.S. can't keep possession. Oh, nice play by, looks like it's Tillman. As Tillman went to the ground looking for a whistle, he didn't get one. And now Tillman's got to hustle back in as they're going to try to switch this one. But there's Tillman. And there's a whistle by Rosales. Excuse me, Morales. As he pulled Tillman down to the turf. As we're approaching the 40th minute, the U.S. are still up 2-0. But make no mistake, Guatemala has played their way into this first half. As here comes Guatemala attacking again. Nice play out right here. Oh, nice sliding tackle by Morales. And he fires one across the box way too heavy. As that ball is going to get played in, but there's Tim Ream to clear it. That ball goes forward. Here's Ashimang trying to fight for this one. And it comes down to Ashimang, who's going to play this a little forward to Tillman. And here comes Freeman. And now the U.S. will try to hold possession. And it's Tim Ream on the left-hand side who plays it forward to Arvston. Oh, that ball was just a bad pass right there by Arvston. He thought somebody was going to go centrally. But there's Diego Luna to intercept. As Malik Tillman will play it off to Freeze, and now he's got no choice but to kick that one out. And all of a sudden, the U.S. are struggling. Again, adversity. Yes, they're up 2. But now all of a sudden, they just can't hold possession. Is this going to be a corner? Oh, yeah, it will be. And it's going to be Santos. From the left-hand side, there's the in-swinger. That's going to be headed up and over the crossbar. As we're approaching minute 40. And Guatemala has done a very good job utilizing the wings. They've been getting down both sides, whether down the right or making that switch to the left. They have had nothing but space to operate down the wings, and the U.S. has been vulnerable centrally as they ping balls in the box. There's got to be at least some course correction at halftime here. It's Tim Ream. Here's Freeze. Plays it out to Richards. As the U.S. are pinned, that ball's going to get tipped forward. And it's going to be Ashimeng now. As that ball's played forward, it's going to be to Luna. And Ashimeng plays it behind Luna, who's going to try to keep it in, and he does. Luna 1v1. Oh, there's a whistle. 100%. That's going to be a free kick as Arfston ran forward. And it looked like that might have been Rosales that absolutely took him down. Nope, Santos. Nice, that was an absolutely aggressive tackle. So the U.S. will have a free kick from just outside the 18-yard box on the left-hand side. Good opportunity here for the U.S. to kill some of this momentum and get their third. As we are waiting for the whistle here. Let's see if the U.S. has the opportunity here to kill some momentum and get their third. As there's a little scuffle there in the box between Chris Richards and Rosales there. As now the ref will pull him out of the box to give him a stern talking to. It was Richards and Robles as they go back into the box now. Oh, a nice little hand play right there. So here's the in-swinger. Tipped, save. Oh, nice play by Berhalter. Oh boy, that was almost a goal. Looks like it was going to be Berhalter who took it. As that gets tipped off the head of Santos, and it nearly goes in. Great save right there. As now here comes Guatemala. As they're going to try to play up the right. That ball's going to get played forward. And it's going to be tipped forward by Arfston, and it's going to get out for another corner kick for Guatemala here. Nice heads-up play by Max Arfston, stopping that forward run. Can the U.S. Oh, nice. Ooh, nice save. That ball stays out. Matt Freeze made a hell of a save right there. As Guatemala nearly scored. But I believe there's going to be an offside call here. Yeah, absolutely. As that ball was actually headed in by Rosales, Matt Freeze made an excellent save. and the U.S. will have possession here. Make no mistake, man. Guatemala has done a good job in the dying halves of this first half of getting forward, but also pressuring Matt Freeze. As the U.S. will lose possession here, and here comes Guatemala now up the left-hand side. No whistle. Shoots! Saved by Freeze again. And now there's a quick throw out. And there's a player injured down on the turf. That ball has to get played back to Tim Ream. Looks like Arson tried to play it forward to Ajimyang. And that ball is going to get deflected out by Tyler Adams. And on the ground now is Altan. Looks like he's holding his ankle, rolling around the ground, acting like he got shot in the ankle. Come on, man. Tyler Adams with a nice tackle right there. U.S., man, kind of scrappy. So we're in the 45th minute, so it's going to be 3 minutes of stoppage time as we are getting close to the halftime whistle. And Chris Richards is going to get a yellow for a harsh tackle, but as the U.S. will hold possession now. Here's Diego Luna is going to play it forward. Here comes Berhalter. Berhalter is going to lay this one off. It's Tillman. He's got to play it back to Richards. And quickly that ball moves to Tim Ream. Ream, of course, the former Fulham center back before coming back to the Major League Soccer, as they're going to try to play this one forward. That's going to get headed up and out. For those guys that remember that Tim played a few seasons for Fulham, one of their better defenders, and decided to come back to Major League Soccer. Or at least finish his career in the States. Hasn't disrupted his national team career. Although, he was out of the national team for like a good 8 years. As that ball is going to try to get played into the box. It's going to be tipped. And now down to Tyler Adams, who's going to play this one back. It looks like it's going to be Arfston. Here's Luna, tipped away. Possession's kept. It's going to be Arfston who's under pressure. And now Luna skies it. That's going to be a quick throw. And down the right-hand side, it's Guatemala. That's going to get deflected. Nice defending right there by the U.S. as Guatemala got down that right-hand side quick. As we're 30 seconds away from the half. Can the U.S. hold here? As that ball is going to get played into the box. Headed out. As that shot is going to go well over the crossbar. As we're approaching the 48th minute. And there it is. There is the halftime whistle. All right, so the U.S. do their job defensively and keep Guatemala out of the net. Let's go ahead and take a look at the halftime stats on this one. And we're going to start with possession as and it was weird. Like it was a tale of, two halves in that first half because the U.S. started the match dominating possession, but as it grew, Guatemala got comfortable in possession. But the U.S. do lead the possession battle 52% to 48% in that first half. The XG battle actually sides with Guatemala, 1.10 to 0.89. Total shots, Guatemala 15, the U.S. 6 shots on target. The U.S. leads 4-3. Guatemala has the big chance 2-1. But Guatemala has also missed 2 big chances. And corners, Guatemala leads that 4-0. As we look at, dig deeper into the shots, shots off target, Guatemala 8. US 1. Shots on target, of course, we already covered that. Block shots, Guatemala 4, US 1. Shots inside the box. This is actually crazy. Guatemala has 8 to US's 1. Shots outside the box, Guatemala 7-5. So it looks like the US, granted their 2 goals, they took advantage of it, obviously. Passes, the US leads 205 to 178. They also lead the accurate passing, 169 to 152. Passes in the own half, it's 80. It's essentially even, 86 to 85. Passes in the opposition half, 83 to 76. And the U.S. also leads on accurate long balls, 23-11. But accurate crosses, Guatemala 8, U.S. 0. Touches inside the opposition box, 12-4 Guatemala. And that is an obvious description of how that first half came to an end, with Guatemala on the front foot. Tackles, U.S. leads that one 6-1. Interceptions are even. U.S. has 4 blocks, 13 clearances, and 3 keeper save, three very big saves. Duels, the U.S. leads 26-16. Ground duels, U.S. leads that 18-10, and they also lead the aerial duels 8-6. So the interesting thing, though, is that in certain areas, and especially areas that actually matter, the United States currently have shown their defensive DNA. And yes, as much as Guatemala was getting forward at the end of that first half, the U.S. actually did exactly what I was trying to explain a little bit earlier, is matching that intensity. It does look like that the U.S. had to get 9 behind the ball at certain times because that press wasn't exactly working as it did early in the first half. Guatemala towards the end of the first half looked like they were able to get out of pressure with ease, and because of it, I think the U.S. actually had to get numbers back because Guatemala was attacking quick. But the interesting thing, though, is that again, the U.S. have been resolute, and that's what I like to see. Because again, they could not afford to concede before the first half. They're still up 2, and if they can get that third, it's going to be awfully tough for Guatemala to get back into it, as it already is. I mean, for as good as Guatemala looked at times in that first half, still you can't deny the fact that they're behind the 8 ball here. But that being said, if they get one and carry that momentum, that two goal lead can easily get erased. And so I would probably assume, to start the second half, I would assume that the U.S. are going to come out 2 guns ablazing. They almost actually have to. They're going to need that third goal. Because again, Guatemala is not going anywhere. The interesting thing, though, is that I don't necessarily have a problem with the U.S. trying to be a counterattacking type of team, because again, as good as they have looked at times moving forward, they're also equally as dangerous, trying to get up and trying to counter as quick as possible. So there's different ways that the U.S. are going to be able to attack, and again, that's just a signature of Mauricio Pochettino and the way that he plays football. Let's go ahead and do this real quick. And as we're looking forward, Mexico versus Honduras. And as I was saying earlier, Honduras did beat Panama in penalties, 5-4 in penalties. And that was the interesting thing, because I think everybody just assumed that it would be Panama, Mexico, and most people assumed it was going to be U.S., Canada, but we had 2 upsets in the quarterfinal. And that's the beauty of it, right? Because that's Concacaf football. And for those that don't know, if you guys haven't been paying attention to the Confederation, a lot of these teams, like, this is not just a 3-team horse race or a 4-team horse race with Canada, Panama, U.S., and Mexico. You're starting to see some of the other nations in this Confederation routinely get better as the years progress. There was a time there where Honduras had that nice little run that saw them in the World Cup. And sometimes it was Panama that would have that nice, couple years. But now it seems like there's just a lot of consistency within CONCACAF, and you're starting to see Costa Rica, Honduras, Canada, and some of these, I wouldn't say lesser teams, I would say like 1A, 1B. You're starting to see some of these teams, even Jamaica. You can't deny Jamaica's got talent as well too. But that's the beauty of it, right? Because every single time that these teams link up, you're going to get their best. And the difference between a team like the U.S., where they come together sporadically. A lot of these guys are coming from Europe. There's a lot of domestic travel as well too. But the difference is like a team like Honduras, a team like Costa Rica, a team like Guatemala. Those guys are together all the time, right? So they know their movement. They're all synced in, and I think that gives them a little bit of advantage. Versus the U.S., Canada, Mexico, where all of a sudden, their players come in for a camp and don't necessarily have that time to gel, and so it allows some of these other nations to potentially pull off upsets. And sure enough, we saw that, right? Of course, I'm sure you guys heard Jesse Marsh's comments after the loss to Guatemala, a team that I'm sure everybody thought they were going to beat. But again, it's the small things that mean the difference between advancing or going home. And in that, late in that first half, when Jacob Schaffelberg caught the second yellow to give him the red, and now all of a sudden, as you're trying to protect a 1-goal lead and potentially get to 2, now all of a sudden you're playing one man down. And of course, that's never going to be a good recipe, because there's always going to be enough space. And sure enough, Guatemala were able to equalize. And then you get to the penalties, and Canada had their opportunities but didn't take them. And here we are, man. So it's a testament to a young team like Guatemala, a team that is going to continue to fight. And it only makes it that much better, because as these teams get better, it's only going to make the U.S. have to play better, have to show up, and not just act like their talent alone is going to be able to let them walk on. It doesn't work that way. That's the beauty of this. That's the beauty of our sport, right? It's football. Anything can happen on the day. And I think we've seen that. I think this Gold Cup has been wildly entertaining, and I think it's important to highlight that, because of course this isn't Common Bowl. This isn't the South American Federation, where Brazil, Argentina, Colombia, Chile, and some of these other nations that are actually world class teams. It certainly isn't UEFA. But that being said, CONCACAF is a confederation that you're gonna get your very best. As we look at, there's Derma right there. He said back and heart. Nah, I'm sorry, you're not feeling well, Derma. Hopefully you're gonna be on the mend. All right, so as we are preparing for the start of the second half, it's going to be interesting to see if Mauricio Pochettino makes changes. Granted, of course, you get two basically in the first 15 minutes, Diego Luna, with both of those goals. But as that first half, progressed, we saw Guatemala really get into that first half. And so, the interesting thing is going to see if there's going to be any changes in the midfield. I mean, do they pull De La Torre and bring in, a Max Arson, who's more of a box-to-box, very good on the ball, getting forward? I can't imagine we're going to see any defensive changes, especially on that back four. But it's going to be interesting to see if there's going to be any tweaks in that midfield. But as of right now, as we were waiting for the players to come back out, there was no denying, right? There was no denying the fact that, Guatemala definitely played well towards the end of that first half. Now, I guess, or is this going to be a situation where Mauricio Pochettino just reemphasizes the need to have a total team press, getting back to that press, because when the U.S. were, when the U.S. were actually doing that together as a team, Guatemala just could not get forward. Here's Derm right here. He says, question to Steve. With U.S. showing good sides, how confident are you now for the World Cup? And second, what's the score? The score is 2-0 right now, as the U.S. got 2 goals within the first 15 minutes. But does this show confidence? Well, I'll say this, that this isn't going to be the team that's going to be in the World Cup. This is, I guess you can say, the B side. But what I will say is that what we're seeing in this Gold Cup, the fight and the spirit, something that we've lacked for about a year now, with a lot of disinterested players. And again, it gets back to the fact that there's no World Cup qualifying. There's no, there's no way that this team has to earn it because they get the automatic bid. And so there's a natural inclination to kind of let your foot off the gas a little bit, maybe get a little comfortable. But with this squad, the fact that they've had to overcome adversity in the last 3 matches, where there was clear mistakes that could have led to their elimination, and they were able to not lower their heads. They were able to continue on and to continue to grind to get that result. Those type of things build. But I get back to that match against Costa Rica when Malik Tillman missed that penalty. Costa Rican players were in Malik Tillman's face, just giving him the gears, and all of a sudden, his teammates came to the rescue. And said, no, you're not going to do that. As a matter of fact, we're going to fight back. And that's something that we haven't seen with this team in quite a long time. I love seeing the fight, and I love seeing the fact that this team is now playing together as a team. And I like the arrogance as well, too. That's the classic American arrogance. And it's something that this team absolutely needs to continue with the carryover, man, that swagger. But I will say that if guys like Christian Pulisic, Weston McKennie, Tim Weah, Yunus Musa, and some of these players that opted out buy into Mauricio Pochettino, the sky's the limit. And what you're seeing here, they've had to adjust because, we don't have actually wingers on this roster. The one guy who could play, Haji Wright, got sent back to Coventry because of injury. And so essentially what you're seeing is the U.S. attacking with 2 wing backs on both sides of the pitch. And they have, Diego Luna, Malik Tillman essentially pressing high as 2 high 10s. And it's literally unlocked this attack. And it's actually been incredibly fun to watch. I would love to see a scenario in the World Cup where they're attacking with 2 high 10s and Ricardo Pepi up top. Man, and Jedi Robinson attacking down the left-hand side. You know this as well as I do, Derma, that Jedi Robinson is probably a top 3 left back in the Premier League. That dude's worth its weight in gold. That guy is awesome. And if you can just get this team just to be cohesive, do I think that this team is capable of winning a game in the knockout rounds? 100%. Do I think they can advance deep? No, not really. But, the bench watermark is getting past the round of 16 because this team has already proven that, yes, they can qualify, and yes, they can get out of the group. But every single time they hit that round of 16, we saw that in 2022 against the Netherlands, and they were absolutely slaughtered 3-0. But, yeah, I do think that with the home crowd behind them, I think that they can actually get at least a win in the knockout rounds. But we are beginning now here in the second half. The U.S. lead 2-0 as Guatemala has possession as they're trying to attack down the right-hand side, as they will try to play this back. But back to the right side they go. As that ball is going to get played in, and Tim Ream's going to head this back, but right to a Guatemala attacker. That ball's going to get played in, And there's Matt Freeze right there. And that shuts down Guatemala as they had Santos running to the back post. And all of a sudden, there's a turnover deep in U.S. territory. There's a shot that's going to get deflected. And all of a sudden, Guatemala starts hot again. Out to the right-hand side. 1v1 against Luna. Now all of a sudden, they're going to have to play this back. And Guatemala resets as they're making their way up the left-hand side here. Nice defense right there by the U.S. Taking away the passing channel, and there's the turnover. It's Sebastian Berhalter who played to Luca Della Torre. Here's Max Arfsten up the left-hand side, lays it to Luna. Luna chips it forward to Arfsten. And there's going to be a whistle. And it looks like it's going to be a free kick. Deep down the left-hand side. And the U.S. earned a set piece here. Yeah, I don't know about that. Looks like Arfsten just baited the ref into a free kick here. So we'll see what the U.S. can do here. Can they get their third 47 minutes in? A goal here would be absolutely deadly. Guatemala already down 2-0. Here's Berhalter. He whips it in. Back post. And the nice play by the goalie. And all of a sudden, they're going to try to race forward, but it's intercepted. De La Torre plays it centrally. And there's a whistle, and it's going to be a yellow card against Robles on a hard tackle against Berhalter, who's also playing the role of a wounded child. That's dumb. Enough with the acting, guys. Seriously, I absolutely cannot stand flopping. I mean, everybody understands that I'm a big U.S. guy, right? So naturally, there's a soft spot. But that being said, it's like you guys are competitors. You know, the sport is going to be tough. You know, don't try to sell it. To me, I think that's just a waste of time, and I actually think it should be cardable. I would love to see yellow cards for clear examples of flopping, because you understand exactly how this works. As soon as they get the whistle, all of a sudden they're back up. Everything's hunky dory. But the physios are right now on the field, and now there's Sebastian Berhalter. He's up. Okay, wasn't that bad. Good crowd tonight in St. Louis. There's a big Guatemalan contingent. As Tyler Adams will play this back as play resumes. Tim Ream's going to play this forward. It's Luca Della Torre. Out left to Luna. Luna's trying to get around the corner. Looking for a whistle. He doesn't get it. Oh, nice play by Tim Ream to hold it in. Here's Luca around the corner. And that ball is going to get kicked away. It looks like it'll be a U.S. corner. I think that might be the U.S.'s second. Oh, no, they're going to say goal kick. As Luna got forward, yeah, it's going to be a goal kick. Oh, and all of a sudden, what, Luna's going to get a yellow? What is this bizarro officiating here? All right, so I guess play resumes with Guatemala in possession. And they're going to try to quickly switch it to the right-hand side. Now that ball's going to get played forward. Right there is Arston. Good play. Play this one away. It's Luna down the left-hand side, looking for space. Played it forward. Passes interception, but it's, I thought Ajiming was going to get on the end of that. He doesn't. Just doesn't have that top-end speed, man. I don't know how you guys feel about Ajiming. But that being said, it's going to be interesting to see how he performs in the championship, which obviously is me personally, I think it might be a little higher level than Major League Soccer. It requires top end speed to be able to play in that league. Now, granted, if he ends up playing that that poacher role, maybe it's a little bit different. But that being said, I don't know. I would be surprised if he put up Josh Sargent numbers in the championship. That's all I'm going to say. As that ball gets played out, here come the U.S. now. Nice pass by Tyler Adams. And now all of a sudden, Ream will play it forward on the left-hand side. A streaking Arston. Plays it into De La Torre. De La Torre back to Arston. Arston plays one in. Oh, and Ajiming got pulled down to the box. No whistle. As now Rima's going to try to play this one forward at the left-hand side. It's Arston in space. Here comes Arston. Oh, he almost got picked. And it is picked as that ball is going to be played centrally. As now Guatemala will take possession. .52 minute. And the U.S., I don't know, man. The U.S. stopped pressing a while ago. They're just allowing Guatemala to walk this ball forward. As that ball's going to get played out to the left, it's a switch. And that'll get out of play. It'll be a U.S. throw-in. Good throw in. It's Sebastian Berhalter. And here come the U.S. It's Tillman who's going to lay this one forward. It's Diego Luna, but he can't get to it. Oh, look at Ajiming. Battling up on the right-hand corner. And now there's going to be a quick whistle. Now Guatemala will try to get forward quickly, but there's another whistle. As here comes Guatemala now. That ball's going to try to get pinged forward down the right-hand side. Tipped forward. There's good play by Ream. And now the U.S. will try to counter quickly. Oh, nice move by Tyler Adams. He gets free. Lays it off to Luna. Luna played it forward to De La Torre, who backpedals for some reason as the ball was coming from. Oh, and De La Torre has no problem pulling down a Guatemala attacker, and that's going to be a yellow right there. Yeah, and Altan, yeah, he literally beat De La Torre, who just grabs a hold of dude's jersey and just takes him down. So that's what I like to call a good yellow right there, stopping momentum. Guatemala is going to try to play this forward. It gets deflected. Come on, Ajiming. Dude's lazy. As here comes Guatemala now, trying to play it down the right-hand side. Try to get tipped forward. as that ball's going to get crossed in the box, but it was right at Matt Freeze. Oh, that ball's turned over. Ooh. The U.S. got away with it. As they were trying to find Tyler Adams centrally, but he passed it. They passed it in the traffic, and all of a sudden, Adams got his back pocket picked. As that ball gets deflected out, so it'll be a Guatemala corner here. And it looks like this might be their sixth. The U.S. has yet to have a corner in this match. As that ball's going to get whipped in. Outside the box, it gets deflected. Here come the U.S., and they're going to clear this one out of the box. And here comes Diego Luna now, streaking up the pitch, trying to add a little pressure to this. And that ball's apparently passed out, and it'll go for a U.S. throw. And it looks like Mauricio Pochettino is going to make his first substitution. Brendan Aronson looked like he's coming on. The young man from Leeds, who just got promoted to the Premier League. So Brendan Aronson is back in the Premier League as of right now. And for those that watch the championship, Brendan Aronson had himself a hell of a season this year for Leeds. As here come the U.S. in possession now, as that ball's got to get played forward. Guatemala is doing a great job of pressing here. That ball's going to get past. Now the U.S. will have possession. Too heavy of a touch. And Arfston's going to have to play this one forward, and he does at the Luna. As that ball's going to go all the way to the right. Nice touch right there. Good run by Freeman. There's a whistle. As Freeman cut from the right-hand side into the middle of the park, and he gets tripped up. It's good to see Brendan. As the U.S. have a few different guys warming up there in the technical area. Looks like Damian Downs and Jack McGlynn are warming up. And the U.S. have to play this back to Richards. Cross to Tim Ream. It's Guatemala are pressing. It's Arfston who's going to play this forward. Nice run by Diego Luna. But he circles back. That ball is going to get played back to Matt Freeze. There you go. Don't overthink it, Matt. Here's Brendan Aronson. And there's a whistle right there. That was against Rosales. As play is restarted now. And Tim Ream's going to play Arfston forward. Here's Arfston. Luna flicks it. Ajamang trying to cut. He's got to lay this one off to Tillman. Tillman will play it over. It's Berhalter. Here's Freeman on the right-hand side. Freeman. That ball gets tipped, but to Berhalter, who tries to cross one in, and that gets deflected out for a throw-in. As we are approaching the 60th minute, 30 minutes left to play. As the U.S. do lead 2-0. Searching for their third. And it looks like the U.S. now has gotten back some of their momentum as they've been getting forward a little bit more technically. As that ball gets played back to Tyler Adams. And it's Tim Ream now. As Tim Ream's going to play this forward, it's Malik Tillman. And now all of a sudden he has Freeman streaking down the right-hand side. It's Freeman. Plays it into Aronson, who can't handle the touch, but he recovers. Freeman pings one in. Ajamang! Ooh, save. As Ajamang got out the end of that header. But it was right at the keeper. And Ajamang got to do a better job because Granted, he was marked, but he was able to easily get up and get ahead on that. And you just got to redirect that into good spaces. As it'll be US's first corner now. It'll be Berhalter to take this corner from the left-hand side. That ball's going to get whipped in. It bounces. Aronson tried to play it forward, couldn't. Now all of a sudden that gets past Malik Tillman, and now there's a collision. And the U.S. will restart. Here's Ream. All the way to the left, it's Arfston. And Arfston makes a good move, and now he's free. Plays it forward. It's Ashmang. Plays it forward. Oh, Malik Tillman. Tipped. Now I think there's going to be a whistle here. That certainly was a foul. Oh, they're going to say Tillman was offside. Oh, that's weak. That's a weakness. Yeah, okay, he was offside. I'll admit it. It looks like Guatemala is set to make changes as well, too. Looks like Castellanos and Franco are going to come in. It might actually be looks like it's going to be a triple change, actually. As Guatemala quickly passes it in. Plays it forward at the right-hand side. Now all of a sudden they're going to have to play this one back. Now all of a sudden they play it out to the left. That ball's in. Over the head. And it was Arfston that headed it out. Now there's a whistle. It'll be a U.S. possession here. As the Guatemalan fans are getting a little restless here because we're in the 63rd minute and they're still down 2-0. Play resumes. Richards will play it back to Freeze. Now it's Ream and Arfston down the left-hand side. That ball's going to get played up. Nice way to keep possession by Diego Luna. It's Brendan Aronson who plays it forward. It's Ashmang. Oh, what are you doing? As Brendan Aronson played a beautiful through ball, and Ashmang didn't necessarily have enough speed to catch up with it, so we kind of had to rush one to get past the goalie. And yeah, he was onside. As he tried to poke it past the keeper, and then he gets it off the left-hand side and then just skies it past the net. Ugh. Addy. Yes, Ashmang has had a few opportunities here in this match and hasn't been able to take advantage of them. Good opportunity there for the U.S. as it looks like they're trying to grind out another goal. As Escobar, Franco, and Castellanos will all come in from Guatemala, so it is a triple change. It's going to be interesting to see how Pochettino will make the next sub as Brendan Aronson has come onto the pitch. As Aronson's playing a little bit more centrally, so they have Luna, Tillman, and Aronson centrally. Nice little hold-up play right there by Ashmang. As that'll get tipped out for a U.S. throw-in. As a quick throw-in centrally, it's Tyler Adams. Quickly moves it on, and it looks like it's going to be Freeman. Oh, nice play right there by Brendan Aronson. And now the U.S. resets, and it's Tim Ream on the left-hand side. Under pressure, he had to play it back to Matt Freeze. Good press right here by Guatemala. That's played out to Tim Ream. He has no choice but to go forward. Nice flip by Diego Luna. It's Ajamang. Trying to break in, and he does. He's around the corner. Ajamang. Nice slide tackle right there as that goes out for a U.S. corner. As Ajamang was able to get on that ball the left-hand side, and he beat his man to the corner. He tried to play Juan, but it was Franco there. It's a slide tackle that went away for a U.S. corner. It looks like Sebastian Berhalter will again take the corner for the U.S. We are in the 67th minute as the U.S. will play this one short. Here's Tillman. Tillman! And there was a whistle. I think the U.S. are going to have to take this one again. Yep, and they will. Apparently, the U.S. started before the whistle, so as they'll do this again from the left-hand side. As the U.S. tried to be quick about it, but got caught. So they'll do this again, and it's going to be Berhalter. Arm goes up, ball gets whipped in, and that's going to be punched away by the keeper. There's Tyler Adams there. He will play this one back. Oh. As they try to play one centrally, it just gets through a bunch of boots into the hands of the keeper. So here comes Guatemala. Oh, nice move. Nice move to go centrally. He beat a couple guys. That ball is going to get played in, and there's Freeze. As Luna's going to try to play this one forward. It's intercepted. Deep in U.S. territory. Oh, nice pass. Chipped in. And that one's going to get out. And I think this is going to be a U.S. goal kick. As Alton tried to play one into Rubio. That was a nice little chip forward. Good run right there. But it was Tim Ream. It looks like there's going to be another substitution, I think, for Guatemala. Yep, Alton comes out. And Ordonez comes in, so Guatemala only has one sub left, while the U.S. still has 4. The U.S. are still leading 2-0. 2 goals courtesy of Diego Luna in the first half. That ball's played forward. It was tried to be tipped on by Luna, but it gets intercepted. And Guatemala quickly tried to play to the right. It's headed out of bounds for a U.S. throw-in as we are approaching the 70th minute. And it looks like there's going to be a second half water break. And that actually kind of came at the good time too, because again, it almost felt like Guatemala was kind of potentially taking that momentum back. As Dermatron is saying, I'm really enjoying the stream. The best U.S. Spurs channel out there. Big up, Steve. Thank you, my guy. Speaking of which, make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons because, again, we're on a race for 1,000 subs. And, every milestone that we hit, I'll be giving away a free shirt of your choosing. If you're a Spurs fan, I'll get you one. If you're a U.S. men's national team, check it out, man. I'll get you one. Every milestone we hit, 500, 1,000, 1,500, it doesn't matter. I'm going to take care of those that take care of me. And again, because we're just a big U.S. community, Tottenham Hotspur community. So the subs would be appreciated. As it looks like we're almost ready again to start up this one, as the looks like the cooling break has come to an end. As it looks like it'll be Max Arfsten to throw this one in for the U.S. As outside of Brendan Aronson, it doesn't look like we've made any changes yet on the pitch, so I probably would assume we're getting one fairly quick, as that ball's going to get headed up and out. This is usually the time where we see U.S. changes. As Arfsten will play this forward to Luna. That ball gets picked away, but again, the U.S. turn around and pick it. It's Aronson tipping it back. It's Adams. Now here's Malik Tillman. Oh, look at that. Oh, Tillman dribbled between two defenders to keep possession. It's Freeman on the right-hand side who's got to play it into Adams. Plays it to Ream. As Guatemala is pressing. Here's Freeman on the right-hand side. He's going to have to play this forward. Tried to tip forward by Luna. Nobody was there. As Berhalter couldn't receive it. And now Guatemala will try to quickly shift it to the right-hand side. Down the right-hand side. Trying to play it deep. Nice sliding tackle right there. But Tillman can't get the ball back, but that there he kind of does. But just as quickly as the U.S. tipped it, it gets re-tipped, and Guatemala again will reset as they're going to try to push this one up the left-hand side. Ooh, he jumps a sliding Freeman. That ball's played in. There's Matt Freeze, who covers it up before Guatemala had a chance to get an attacker on it. Good ball movement by Guatemala. Yeah, that was excellent down the right-hand side by Ordonez. Jumping Tyler Adams slide. As the U.S. within the last 5 minutes just can't seem to get forward, but now they do. Here's Arfsten down the left-hand side. Oh, and he tried to tip it back to Ashiming. Stolen by Luna. Luna will lay it off to Berhalter. He can't get it, but there's Freeman. No whistle as Freeman hits the deck. Here comes the Guatemala counter. Taken away by Ream. Tipped away. It's Arfsten. And now it's Richards. Goes up the right-hand side. It's Brendan Aronson. He's got to play it back. And that ball's getting played all the way back to Matt Freeze as the U.S. will try to recycle. Ooh, Freeze did get it off. As he played it forward, tried to head forward from Tillman. But Guatemala will take possession here. All of a sudden now, Guatemala has been on the front foot for the last 5 to 10 minutes. As we're in the 75th minute, 15 to go. And that's going to get played all the way down the right-hand side. That ball's chipped forward, headed. And that's going to get out for a goal kick. It was headed far, far, far wide left. And it looks like the U.S. is going to make a substitution. It looks like John Tolkien and Jack McGlynn are coming into the match. Tolkien's going to be a like for like on the left wing back spot for Max Arfsten, I would probably assume. And it's going to be interesting to see where Jack McGlynn goes. Is this a? Are they going to pull either Diego Luna or Luca De La Torre? And it looks like it's probably going to be Luna. And it is. As Luna will come, looks like Luna will come off for Jack McGlynn. Good match by Diego Luna. 2 goals, and that's where this one stands. For a second there, was going to be looking like a potential blowout, but we're still stuck at 2. As Tyler Adams also comes off, and Jack McGlynn will come off. So 15 minutes left, and it looks like they're saving Luna. And it looks like they're saving Adams for the final. Unless something drastically happens here. That was supposed to be redirected. And it is out of bounds for a U.S. throw-in. "12 minutes away from a Gold Cup final for the U.S. Guatemala is going to tip this one into the air, and it'll come down, but there's a whistle. U.S. will retain possession, as it was Escobar who brought down Freeman. Play restarts. Here's Tim Ream. Oh, and they got Tolkien playing. Oh, they got Tolkien playing high up on the left. Ajamang retains possession. And there's a turnover high. There's a whistle. Good whistle right there. As it stops forward momentum. As that ball's going to get pinged in. Headed away. And that'll get out on the left-hand side for a Guatemala throw-in. Play resumes. Ball played in. Headed out by Tim Ream. As Ajamang takes chase, but now they're going to try to get this one down the right-hand side. Now they switch sides. Now they're going to try to attack down the left. Played forward. They're going to have to lay this one off. Nice pass forward. Flicked on. In shoots, and Guatemala just scored. Oh, defense. And it looked like it was Ordonez there for Guatemala. 79th minute. Guatemala gets one back. Absolutely. Hit the like and subs, guys. Oh, and that was a good play. That was a good pass forward. And he just was allowed to. And it was, Escobar actually. That was a lot. That took the flick on. He was allowed to cut in, unmarked. And Guatemala gets one back. And it's not surprising because literally the last 15 or so minutes, Guatemala has ratcheted up the pressure. And again, the U.S. actually have to take chances here. What's going on here? As we're waiting for play to resume here. And we're going to have a whistle here as we're in the 81st minute. Guatemala has been paid off for all their aggression here in the last 15 or 20 so minutes, and the U.S. have to be resolute. They have to stand tall defensively. And it'll be a free kick for the U.S. off the left-hand side. Yeah, about 25, 30 yards off the left side, and it'll be Jack McGlynn taking this free kick here. McGlynn's left foot should just be a wand. He's an absolute wizard with his left foot. And that ball's going to get whipped in. Back post. Oh, saved by the keeper. And it was Freeman. And now they're going to try to counter quickly. Let's get plays down to Tolkien. He's got to play that. He's got to play that forward. There's nobody there. Now Guatemala will try to react quickly. Can the U.S. hold on? And that ball's now going to get switched to the right-hand side. Good ball movement right here as that ball's going to get crossed in. Deflected, now cleared. As Aronson's going to go give it a chase here. That's going to get played back to the keeper. 83rd minute now. That's going to get deflected. Back into the middle of the park. Headed away. Kept in bounds by Guatemala. And there's a whistle. I think it's time to make another substitution there, Maurizio. We have to be a little bit more resolute defensively. Could this be an opportunity for Johnny? This will be a free kick. Yeah, about 30 yards, 35 yards on the right-hand side. As we're approaching minute 84. Guatemala searching. As they try to hit this one to the back post, it just goes too far, and it'll get out for a U.S. goal kick. As Guatemala has been ratcheting up the pressure. The U.S. has essentially just sat back, and it looks like we will have two. Looks like Damian Downs is coming onto the pitch for the U.S. Now Walker Zimmerman will come on for Max Arfston. And the U.S. now has three center backs back there. And Damian Downs comes on. And it looks like Ajamang's off. That ball gets headed all the way to the right-hand side. Tried to play centrally. Tip forward. It's Downs. That was played back to Zimmerman, who now skies it up the right-hand side. And there's a whistle on Jack McGlynn as Pochettino is there on the sideline in the techno box, telling his players to calm down a little bit. And here's Guatemala now, trying to play it out from the back. Good press right there by the U.S. But that's played all the way to the left. That ball's going to go forward. There's Matt Freeze. And he quickly plays it out to John Tolkien. Tolkien's going to boot this one up the left-hand side. And there's Aronson. That's going to get tipped away. And now Guatemala will try to reset. 86th minute now. 4 minutes plus stoppage time. As they're going to try to play this one way up the right-hand side, but tracking back is Tim Ream, and it gets out for a goal kick. Good defense by Tim Ream. Can the U.S. find a late goal to put this one away? Every second ticks. The Guatemala fans get a little anxious as they got one. Racing forward right there. And there's a whistle as Tim Ream did a fantastic job, and he's still down. Absolutely, Tim. Milk it. As he's slow to get up now. And he's finally up. Both teams are out of subs now. As that ball's going to play it up the left, headed forward. There's nobody there. As McGlynn will try to tap it forward, there's a whistle. It looks like it was on Malik Tillman. As we're approaching minute number 88, can the U.S. hang on? Nice way to get around nice play by Freeman. And it'll be a U.S. throw-in. And it didn't like Ordonez didn't like that. As the clock continues to tick. That ball is going to get played way forward, headed away, but right down to a U.S. attacker. Taken away. The hustle by Tolkien. He's going to try to cut this one down. That's Aronson. As Guatemala is going to continue to try to get forward. They're going to have to continue to play back because the U.S. press is doing its job. '89th minute now. They'll play this up the left-hand side. That ball's going to get played in. Oh, headed away. Oh, nice play right there by Berhalter to clear it. That was a pretty goddamn good ball into the box right there. Now Guatemala. Again, we'll try to attack up the left-hand side. As they try to go centrally. And there's going to be a whistle. That's going to go against Castellanos. That's Walker Zimmerman. As we are now in the 90th minute. 4 minutes of stoppage time. 4 minutes. And the U.S. will advance to a final. As that ball's played forward. And it'll get out of bounds. It'll be a Guatemala throw-in. And they're going to play this up the left-hand side. As the U.S. have all 10 behind the ball, sitting in a low block, trying to play it in. It gets deflected. Tolkien now. That gets out of bounds. Guatemala throw-in. Oh, nice pass right there. Take it away. And now the U.S. will try to get forward. Oh, and Malik Tillman stumbled. And there's a whistle. as they try to play quickly on the right-hand side. Ooh, still on the ball. As that tries to get played in. Outside the box, there's a shot. Ooh, nice save by Matt Freeze. That's Morales. Got on it. So it'll be a Guatemala corner. Here's the ball. It gets whipped in. Headed up. It'll get out of the box, but right there. And that ball's going to get tipped out. 92nd minute. 2 minutes left. It'll be a U.S. advancing to their 18th Gold Cup final. As Pochettino walking anxiously in the technical area. So that ball's going to get played forward. And looks like there's going to be a whistle, so it looks like they're going to have to do this one again. Minute and a half remain. And Freeze will try this one again as he boots this one up. Tolkien try to play it up. Oh, nice defending right there by Downs. Now they're going to sky this one to the right side. Tipped in. And it's Malik Tillman with the and there's a yellow card right there. And now there's some big beef between Tillman and Santos. Those two guys were yelling at each other, and his U.S. teammates quick to defend him. As we're 15 seconds away. If these results hold, it'll be their 13th Gold Cup final. As that ball's going to just get skied all the way forward. Oh, nice play by Damian Downs. As we are there. 94th minute. And the ref is going to let them play through. And that ball's going to try to get forward. Tim Ream heads it away. And there it is. It's gone final. The U.S. men's national team will advance to the Gold Cup final. Awaiting them is going to be the winner of Mexico and Honduras. It got a little sketchy, but you know what, though? The U.S. men's national team get their result, the result that they needed. Absolutely. Yes, Derma. Yes, I believe there is a third-place game. And does this help teams the World Cup that need to? Well, this is just our Confederation Championship, much like the Euros or much like Copa America in South America. This is our Confederation Championship. The only difference is it's played every single year, except for non-World Cup years for obvious reasons. But so usually how it works is like it works pretty much everywhere else. Usually in the summer is when we have our Gold Cup. And then in a normal window, as soon as the because qualifying starts a year, starts a year and a half prior to the World Cup, and usually you start the first leg of qualifications, then you have the Gold Cup, and then you have the final World Cup qualifications that usually end in the fall. And normally, you would qualify, and then you have a series of friendly for the World Cup. But because the World Cup is being held in North America, there are 3 automatic bids: the U.S., Canada, Mexico, plus three more qualifying bids. So Concacaf will have 6 members in the World Cup, and so the rest of the confederation is qualifying, but the Gold Cup is just the championship. So, all right, let's go over the stats here as we close this out, and as this wound down, Guatemala definitely won the possession battle, 51-49. The U.S. men's national team did win the XG battle, 1.76 to 1.32. Total shots, 20-12, Guatemala. Shots on target, 7-5 U.S. Big chances, 3-2. Accurate passes, Guatemala beat the U.S. 325 to 314. Fouls were even, 15-all, and of course, Guatemala won the corner battle, 6-2. As we talk about the shots, shots inside the box, 10-6, Guatemala. Shots outside the box, 10-6. Overall passing, Guatemala did at just 386 to 383. Passes in their own half, U.S. won that 167-162. Passes in the opposition half, Guatemala 163, U.S. 174. Accurate long balls, the U.S. 33, Guatemala 19. Accurate crosses, 8-2, Guatemala. Touches in the opposition box, 20-12. As we look at defense here, total tackles 1, U.S. 7, Guatemala 4. Interceptions were both 5-5, U.S. 6, 3 in blocks. Clearances, U.S. 25, Guatemala 17. Duels, USA 50, Guatemala 41. Ground duels, 34 to 30. And U.S. also won the aerial battle, 16-11. So here's what I will say. And again, we talked about this in the, let's see, here we go. How many have they 1 out of 13? I believe 3. But that being said, you also have to understand that the U.S. does not prioritize the Gold Cup because it's played every single year. It's not necessarily as prioritized because usually, and for some reason, since this new crop of young players have come in, they have elected to not play in the Gold Cup. Like Pulisic, the last time Pulisic played in the Gold Cup was 2019, so it's been a while. And because they like to, they elect, because they play in Europe, they elect to have they elect to enjoy their summers. While it's usually the B team that plays in the Gold Cup, much again just like this season. Although we did have some European-based players in it, but and it's because it's played every single year that the U.S. doesn't necessarily prioritize it. And because of that, because of the summer window, usually what ends up happening is that the U.S. prioritizes the Nations League because I think the purse is a little bit better for the Nations League. And of course that final is played like in March. So it works out as far as international windows goes, which is why you usually see our first team at the Nations League. Let's see. Thank you very much, Derma. And who would I like in the final? Mexico, 100%. I want it to be a U.S.-Mexico final. It is the best rivalry in international football. I know some people say Spain-Portugal, Spain-France, Italy, France, England, Scotland, England, France, Germany, Netherlands, which is a good one. But historically speaking, this is a rivalry that's rooted in hatred. And over the course of the last 25 years, this has also become politically charged, well, as far as the immigration and all that stuff. I'm not going to get into that, but there is a lot of animosity in this rivalry, and as this thing has unfolded, prior to 1991, it was dominated by Mexico because the U.S. didn't qualify for a World Cup from 1950 to 1990. It was 40 years in the dark. And the United States had one of the worst national teams in that 40-year period. But once the U.S. qualified for the 90 tournament, and they kind of turned the page out of that dark year. They had been awarded the 94 World Cup, and things seemed to turn a little bit. And when they got to the 90 World Cup with some young players like Eric Winalda and some of those guys, starting in 1991 with Todd Ramos, Tony Meola, Paul Caligiuri, Eric Winalda, some of those guys, and because they hired Bora Milutinovic from Mexico in anticipation of the 94 World Cup. And all of a sudden, the U.S. historically wins their first World Cup in 91. And that was really when the U.S. Got into that rivalry, because it was the first time where they could actually compete against Mexico. And it was their first opportunity to say, you know what, we're here and we're not going away. And from 91, it has been split pretty much down the middle, where when Mexico travels to the U.S. end up playing pretty well, even though that a lot of Mexican fans are here in the States. So it sometimes almost feels like a road game. Where the difference is that when the U.S. travels to Mexico, they've only beat Mexico in Mexico once in this whole time frame. So it's usually the home team generally wins that. But when you look at some of the best matches, the 95 Copa America, when the U.S. beat Mexico in the quarterfinals, in the 99 Confed Cup semifinal down in Azteca Stadium, Mexico beat them 1-0. Of course, the legend of Dos Acero all throughout the 2000s, but also the 2002 World Cup with the U.S. Again, Dos Acero over Mexico in the quarterfinals. So there's a huge history with these two teams. So, of course, I want U.S. Mexico. Wayne Bonner, excellent, man. Thank you very much. All right. So, as I was saying throughout the broadcast, is that the defining trait of the U.S. men's national team in this World Cup has been overcoming adversity. And we saw that in the group stage against Saudi Arabia. The U.S. couldn't break down their low block. I mean, they had 75% possession. Saudi Arabia just gave them the ball and just said, okay, cool, you're going to have to beat us. And they couldn't. And it was only for a Chris Richards goal on a set piece late that they were able to get that win against Haiti in that third match. Matt Freese makes a terrible mistake and essentially gives them a goal to equalize. And again, it was, they were dealing with a little bit of a Haiti press, but they were kind of disjointed in the attack. But they kept grinding and they kept grinding and they kept getting forward. And eventually Ajameng scores the goal and the U.S. found a result against Costa Rica. Max Sarson gives away a penalty within the first 10 minutes. He makes just an absolutely dumb tackle in the box. And all of a sudden, Costa Rica goes up 1-0. But again, as the game developed, the U.S. was able to equalize, and then take the lead early in the second half. But again, as Costa Rica figured out ways to get forward, they equalize. And now all of a sudden we go to a shootout. And then obviously Matt Freese comes up huge for the U.S. in the shootout, and they advance. And then tonight, Guatemala, for the most part, from the 30th minute on, controlled possession, and it put the U.S. behind the eight ball, where they actually had to stand tall on defense. They actually had to be tactically where they needed to be to stop balls from getting played deep into the box. And of course, they did a great job towards the end there to make sure everything gets headed out. Guatemala gets one back, and all of a sudden, with 15 minutes left, you're wondering whether or not they're going to concede that second. And of course, the U.S. dialed it up on defense and was able to get this result amid adversity. And you're seeing this team play well together. You're seeing this team fight together. You're seeing that scrappy nature. You're in some context seeing the arrogance that I love to say, and I keep saying this, man, that American arrogance of just assuming that we're going to go win, but we're going to make sure that you're going to have to earn it. And if you do beat us, you're going to have to pretty much play perfectly. And that's what I love to see. It didn't help that it also helped that they got 2 goals early from Diego Luna, and that set the tone. So we're off to the final. And let me go ahead and make sure. Yeah, it's going to be this Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Gold Cup final. And of course, tonight in about an hour, Mexico and Honduras kick off. And, if you're well, here's the interesting thing. Of course, I want Mexico to win because if we beat Mexico in the final, it's even that much more sweeter. But that being said, the path of least resistance is Honduras. But that being said, absolutely thrilled tonight. And, yeah, I can't wait for Sunday, man. World Cup final, an opportunity to hoist a trophy. And again, this is something that the U.S. needs so badly. For the lackluster play for well over a year now, the disinterest that some of our European-based pool players have taken, not just friendlies, but also some of competitive matches. To the point where it got Greg Berhalter fired because of Copa America. In comes Mauricio Pochettino, and it feels like some of these players are lukewarm to the idea of Pochettino. And of course, we had a disastrous Nations League, and of course this Gold Cup where a lot of players elected not to show up, understanding that this is the last stretch of meaningful games that we will play until the World Cup. And so now it's just friendlies all the way to after this final. But that being said, because of that, this team has to give the fans a reason to be excited. It has to get that momentum back. And what the best way to get that momentum back is to win Gold Cup. You win Gold Cup, and all of a sudden, you have the fan base saying, "Okay, cool, we recognize that stretch," but they're still able, even with a B team, to get to win hardware, and that's what it's all about. So. And it's something that this team needs. It needs that forward momentum. It needs to, what I like about it is this crew, these guys that are here are setting the tone for the rest of the calendar until we hit the World Cup. So I want to thank Dermatron, who was awesome in the chat. I want to thank Wayne Bonner, Nate Holloway, and Adrian Spurs Diehards TTID for joining me in the chat tonight. I hope you guys thoroughly enjoyed it. I know I did. So I will see you again on Sunday for the final. And hopefully it's against Mexico. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. I'll see you then.
Rusted goalposts under fading skies. Tattered flags waving dreams in our